Great to have you with us. In our first story, staff of the Ghana Grid Company, GridCo, have sent the strongest warning yet to the Finance Ministry and the Electricity Company of Ghana. A looming power crisis would be inevitable if a 1 billion cedi debt owed to the power transmitter is not cleared. The staff, drawn from across the country, clad in red, hit the streets in a protest march which culminated in the presentation of petitions to the Finance Ministry and the Electricity Company of Ghana, ECG. The staff gave the affected entities a 10-day ultimatum to have their debts cleared.
We have, tens of officials of GridCo who are currently converged here, and the mission for this particular meeting is to march through the streets to the Finance Ministry, and then they make a stopover at the Ministry of Finance and the ECG offices, where they're going to be essentially drumming home the need for the huge indebtedness to the power transmitter to be cleared. Let me speak now to one of the officials just to get a sense of what this particular march is about. Okay, so today I see that your members, your colleagues are all converged at the Black Star Square. Walk us through the mission. What exactly is this march about?
We have service providers, we have customers, we have supplied them the power, they are not paying us. Particularly VACO is owing us close to $32 million. ECG is owing us 607 million Ghana cedis, and NETCO distribution company also is owing us 177 million Ghana cedis. And this is not helping us to do our accomplishment maintenance perfectly. And this we want the Ghanaians to know, and we want the leadership of the country to listen that the integrity, the strength, the reliability of the network should not be brought to.
Now, some will ask that why did GridCo sit for the debt to accumulate in this excess of amounts before you stand up and take an action?
Well, that's why we are saying enough is enough.
March has begun, and they're proceeding through the ministry's area, where the officials and the staff of GridCo are expected to pass through the Finance Ministry and present a petition there, and from there they make a brief stop at the ECG offices. Let me attempt to speak to the president of the Senior Staff Association of GridCo, Mr. Raphael Connor. He is sort of leading this particular march.
We are heading there to present our petition, and there we'll declare whatever intentions that we have.
And since you started raising alarm and addressing press conference about this indebtedness issue, have you had any response from any of these institutions that owe you that much money? And what have they been saying?
Well, we've not heard anything officially, but what ECG is doing is that the normal under recovery payment they have been doing, that is what they are doing. And it is the same under recovery that has accumulated to the 607 million as at March when PDS took over. And so for us, we think that since the under recovery have started again, it is going to mount our receivables again, and that is what we are saying.
We are almost about getting to the ministry's area where we're going to present a petition to the Finance Ministry. So the staff of GridCo have made their way here to the Finance Ministry. They moved and marched from the Black Star Square, and they just touched base here at the Finance Ministry, at the ministry's area, where we're learning they're going to present a petition to the ministry. And among the questions they're asking of the ministry is the whereabouts of some 250 million cedis they say was directed by President Akufo-Addo to be given to GridCo by the Finance Ministry. This is 6 months down the line since the president made that pronouncement to them. They have not seen, or they don't know where that amount has gone to.
During this year's May Day celebration, staff of GridCo across the country raised placards on GridCo's debt situation and its impact on our operations and maintenance. We, the staff of GridCo, petition you as follows. 1, that you immediately release to GridCo the 250 million Ghana cedis directed by His Excellency the President since May 2019. Failure to do so means that we should not take the words of the President serious. 3, that you immediately order VACO to settle the $33 million it's owed GridCo which they claim is part of the legacy debt in the energy sector. And so, Honorable Minister, this is our petition which we are presenting to you.
Raphael Connor is National Chairman of the Senior Staff Association of GridCo. Now, he, in his message to the Ministry of Finance, mentioned that by December 10, if they do not have the ministry resolve the issues as raised in their petition, they will withdraw all their services. And what that means is that the looming disaster will be unavoidable.
We are very professional people, and after presentation of this petition, we are going to give a timeline by 10th of December. We are very professional. Tomorrow we are supposed to declare a sit-down strike. But having petitioned you, we know you are going to work on it assiduously and make sure that you avert the crisis that is looming.
We can now listen to the Deputy Finance Minister, Abna Osei-Asare, who received the petition on behalf of the ministry from the GridCo staff. She says she was going to pass on all the concerns raised in the petition to the minister for swift action.
So I'm receiving this on behalf of the Minister of Finance, and I'll address all the concerns. I'll pass on all the concerns you have raised to him as well.
We would have expected the Deputy MD if the MD is not available. This shows that they don't attach any importance to our petition. However, we will present the petition accordingly.
We, the staff of GridCo, petition the MD of ECG as follows. 1, that you immediately pay GridCo the 94 million Ghana cedis PDS collection on behalf of ECG during the PDS suspension. 2, following one above and our enumerated series of industrial actions as contained in our press conference held on the 21st of November of 2019, copy we are giving to you, to demand for the payment of our debts. Staff of GridCo have withdrawn all emergency works and services to the ECG outside normal working hours since Friday 22nd November 2019 and will treat all emergencies as normal works in the next business day. 3, consequent to 2 above, we advise the ECG to stop the habit of non-full payment of electricity transmission bills, since this habit is not healthy for the sustainability of the NITS.
So in the studio to talk more on these issues are officials of GridCo, Raphael Connor, the chairman of the Senior Staff Association, and Ajate Francis, Divisional Union Chairman, GridCo. Gentlemen, good afternoon and welcome to the Pulse.
Thank you.
Mr. Connor, would you say your demonstration today was successful?
Thank you very much for this opportunity. I think it was very successful by God's grace, and we didn't encounter any challenges. So we can say that it was successful.
Why do you say so? What did you set out to do, and what did you end up doing?
Well, it's a follow-up on our press conference we had on the 21st. And as you are aware, we indicated in our press conference that on the 4th of December, we will embark on the sit-down strike. But we thought it wise to petition the appropriate authorities. And for us, since we are professionals, we know the impact that the sit-down strike will have. And so we thought it wise to petition the appropriate authorities and give them some briefing space, at least a week. And so that is why we have deferred tomorrow's sit-down strike to on the 10th. And by so what we mean is that we are going to converge at our head office, and we'll be there till we hear something positive from the Ministry of Finance and the ECG.
So you petitioned the ECG and the Ministry of Finance. These are the same two bodies that you called out during your news conference. Yeah. Mr. Ajate, have you heard from any of these organizations?
No. We haven't heard of any of these organizations. They always promise we are doing something about it and nothing comes out. And I may say no. I'm not getting any positive news from them. In terms of payments, after the promises is there. So no.
So, Mr. Connor, does that mean that perhaps they have reached out to you and given you assurances since last week?
No, they have not reached out for any assurances. You know, the practice of ECG is that when PDS went off the scene, they reverted back to the weekly payment they've been doing. But normally, their payments are under recovery. You bill them about 50 or 60 million, and they pay you less than half of the amount. And they stagger it within the month by weekly payment. So when you add the quantum, it's not up to half of the amount that they pay. And so we think that this thing, in fact, that has accumulated the 607 million we stated earlier in our press conference that ECG was owing before PDS took over. So when you divide that 607 million by 28, by then we were billing the 28 per month. So when you divide that 600 by 28, it means it's over 40 months under recovery. And that has been the trend. And that is the trend we have seen now after they've taken over from PDS again. And
this was not a problem when PDS took over the reins of power?
Yes, PDS was paying not fully, but they were paying more than 80% to 90% of what we billed them. Yes.
And did you reach out to ECG after they took over to find out why this process was not continuing?
Well, it is the management, our management, who have to do those follow-ups. But you know, we work in, we are partners in this organization. And so we are staff leaders, and more so the senior staff, which is the middle class. We try to find out from management, what are they doing? And they keep on promising. ECG will do this, they will promise, and they will not adhere to the promises. And so we think that as major stakeholders, we have to do the honors to at least partner management in fighting for this cause. Because at the end of the day, we are the people that it impacted on the most. Because management, they sit in the office, we are on the ground working. And if there are no money for us to work, if there are no equipment for us to work, if people go to work and they have not been duly remunerated, what it means is that it demoralizes the staff. And we are feeling the pinch on the ground. And so that is why we are here where we are today.
Has it gotten to that point? Your company is owed 607 million, but has it already gotten to the point where you are not being paid and you don't have the logistics and resources to work with?
No, salaries are paid, but you know, you cannot determine, not until ECG paid you, the managers of the company cannot determine when to pay you salary. Because we have debtors that, we also have service providers that we have to pay. They provide us equipment, materials for our job, and they are at our back. Every now and then they are there. And some of them have stopped giving us, what do you call it, the services. Even if they will give you services, because they know that you will not pay now, they have to add the margin. If it will take them a while, they will add that margin. And we think that this is an additional cost that is coming on the company. Because if we have the money, definitely something that you buy at 5 cedis today, nobody will sell it for you at 20 cedis because he knows that you will not pay him now. And these are the issues. You see, we are where we are today because, look, we have a plan of power delivery, power flow, which we do. So annually, Ghana, our annual power rise is about 10% per annum. Now, we are around 2,800 megawatt peak. So it means next year, per our flow analysis, we are going to hit about 10%, which is also getting to about 3,000 plus megawatts. Now, we need strong infrastructure. You need to upgrade your lines. You need to change your transformers. You need to do all this so that when you are called to action, when there is that rise in power, you will not be found wanting. Your equipment will be able to stand. Your transmission lines will be able to deliver the power. And so that is why we are up to this task. At the end of the day, it impacts on us as Ghanaians, it impacts on industry, and we as workers, it impacts on us as well.
So today, when you went out there, you met the Deputy Finance Minister, and we saw her speak and we heard what she had to say. Would you say this is assuring?
Well, we will take her word, and we will not cast doubt on her assurance, because that will be a bit below the belt. We want to give him the benefit of the doubt. And for us, we think we are watching. And well, if the president gave directive that GridCo should be given the 250 million that management wrote since May, and it took about 7 months and nothing has been paid, well, 1 week, we'll see what will happen.
Now, on that directive specifically, what did the president ask, and did you try and find out why it's not been paid?
Well, you know, during this year May Day celebrations, we raised similar issues on our placards, and it caught the attention of the Ministry of Energy, the presidency. Before then, our management wrote to the ministry that, look, finance minister, give us this money, 250 million, whilst we use it to turn ourselves around, to pay our debtors and to do other things, whilst you pay the ESLA bond money. In fact, at that meeting at the presidency, we were told by our management that they asked the finance minister to make sure that he look for the money for GridCo while government takes steps to raise the ESLA bond. The ESLA bond was raised, GridCo was left out, the first bond. VRA was paid about $560 million US to settle their debtors at the bank, but GridCo was left out. And so we were thinking that at least the finance minister will heed to the directives of the president, so that at least GridCo will be given that amount of money to be able to service the equipment, pay their service providers, and other people that they also owe.
So this was 7 months ago?
Yes.
That's the president's made this directive?
Yes.
Why now? Why are you demanding this in this manner today?
Well, we've been having series of meetings with our management, and anytime we go, we ask of this directive that the president has given. And they keep reassuring us that, oh, they are working towards it. There were occasions where they have to even put in another request. And so we'll be having series of engagement with our management. And, you know, our staff definitely I told you that we are also major stakeholders in this organization. And we need to also be concerned with what is happening. And so we think that management has also done their bit. And for us, we also need to put in our bit to make sure that we salvage this company from being run down.
Mr. Ajate, in your engagement with government, with what you've heard so far, do you see a commitment to meet the needs of GridCo?
If I may say commitment to the needs of GridCo, what we are, is it when you keep on promising and you go, what the promise hasn't come. It means that the person still is just giving you an oral promises, and that will not help. We are struggling to do maintenance. It's affecting it badly. And the season which we are entering now, we are entering into the export season, whereby people will be freezing meat, whatever it is. And if we should get an outage for 1 month, what do you think will happen? It will not be proper. So we don't want it to get there. So we are praying to the government, at least, to intervene, so that at least our business should not die. Without GridCo, I don't think a company will survive. A company that needs electricity to, run his business. Maintenance, we are struggling. More of the parents are through the forest. And we even covered maintenance of access roads. When there's a problem now, we carry the thing on our heads to reach the area. Sometimes that will take 3 days, sometimes 2 weeks, which is affecting the business. But
Mr. Ajase, did these challenges begin today in the short period that ECG took over from PDS?
No.
So you've always had these challenges?
Yes, and we always have been talking about it. So where it's getting to, we want the public or Ghanaians to know. I'm a Ghanaian. The other day when we have the partial disturbance, we all step in the darkness. So why do I say that power should go and I'll be happy? Because that's where I get my revenue.
Okay.
So it's a national concern.
We've been joined on the line by Jonathan Amoakoba, who is Managing Director for GridCo. Mr. Amoakoba, thanks for joining us. What do you make of this action by your workers? And he, of course, is the Chief Executive of GridCo. Mr. Amoakoba, thanks for joining us again. Does management endorse this action by the workers?
Thank you. Let me give you the current situation. We are aware of the demonstration of the staff groups to demand payment of the outstanding debts owed to us by the key institutions such as CCG, VALCO, and NETCO. Our position has always been clear. We will continue to urge our employees to remain calm as we work with the relevant stakeholders to arrive at an amicable solution. In as much as we are not happy with the current financial situation of the company, we are persuaded by recent engagements with government and the management of the key institutions that the issue will be resolved within a reasonable time. What we are doing now is that we have been busy with our staff and also with government officials over the situation. Our staff are owed some personal emoluments, as they have stated over the past 2 years, which continue to remain outstanding due to our current situation. But it should be noted that we have continued to remain committed to our mandate of providing uninterrupted power delivery to Ghanaians despite these setbacks.
I have a senior staff member here who mentions that there are challenges with maintenance of your lines, there are challenges with the logistics and resources that your staff need to deliver quality power to Ghanaians. And it's all tied to this money that is owed to GridCo. Can you confirm this?
Although there are challenges, we have lived up to our mandate. As we speak, we are not getting outages because we are not maintaining our facilities. We are always on top of the work. We are maintaining our equipment. We are clearing right-of-ways for the transmission lines. So, as I said, although there are challenges, we are still on top of our business.
Is it your view then, Mr. Makoba, that today's demonstration was unnecessary?
Well, for me, as I said, we spoke to them, we asked them to exercise restraint, but then they were bent on doing it. They have gone ahead to do it. I wouldn't endorse it anyway, because as I said, we have had engagements with government, and government has been very forthcoming in our engagement so far. So there's a willingness to make things work in the energy sector by ensuring that the right things are done. So we do not renege on our mandate. As I said, we are confident that this issue will soon be resolved.
But you have given government a deadline yourself as management.
Which deadline did you give to government? We never gave government any.
Well, in a previous interview, it's aired here on this channel. In a previous interview on this platform, you have said that if by the end of the year monies are not paid by government, you will find it difficult to deliver power. You've said this to us.
I never made a statement like that. It was VALCO that I said if they did not pay, we were going to disconnect them.
If VALCO did not pay, you were going to disconnect VALCO?
Yes.
Okay, it's fine. It's fine. So when will we see a resolution to these issues?
I believe that pretty soon I would see a resolution to this issue.
When?
I cannot put a finger on it, but as I said, we are talking to them, and they are very forthcoming, and I believe that maybe by the close of this month, everything will be resolved.
Thank you, Mr. Makoba. Do you get any succor from what he's saying, Mr. Connor, from the way he's been? Do you have any confidence that you see a resolution to your challenges?
Well, he's my CEO, and it's normal that he speaks that way. For us, we've been having series of engagement, and it didn't start from today. So we have issued timelines, and we will go by it. I'm happy he said VALCO will be disconnected. As part of our issues we raised when we met the Deputy Finance Minister, we said by 10th of this month, we will also go and pressurize our management to disconnect those who are owing us, who have brought us to this situation. And so once he has made those commitments, on the 10th, we are also going. But if nothing substantial has come out of what we have, the petitions we have presented, and that is our position.
So do you still maintain that in a week, if you do not see any move to pay your monies, you would go on strike?
Well, when we get there, we'll crawl, but that is the instructions we have issued out. We are converging at the head office on the 10th, and that will be the start of whatever actions we want to take.
What would stop the strike between now and the 10th?
Well, we told the ECG people that at least, if for nothing at all, the 94 million PDS collected before they exited, they should pay those monies to us. And if they pay those monies, we will see the willingness or the commitment they have to pay the monies. And also, going forward, they should make sure that they stop the under-recovery payments
of bills that we submit to them.
Thank you very much, Raphael Kono. Thank you, Ajate Francis. You're still live on the Pulse here on the Joy News channel.